The top golfers in the world have returned to the Low Country, and WJCL News is working for you to cover the tournament from the tee to the green. It's time to go inside the ropes at the RBC Heritage, presented by Boeing and made possible by these generous sponsors.
This was the last time we saw golf out at Harbortown Golf Links Friday night. Rain forcing play to be suspended. 65 golfers didn't get a chance to finish their second rounds. Rains overnight, leaving over 3 inches of precipitation on Hilton Head Island. But as dawn broke, tournament officials and folks at Sea Pines able to get the course up to par, and at 8:01 Saturday morning, play resumed. A couple hours later, play in the third round would get underway, and just a couple hours ago, the third round was in the books, setting the stage for Sunday's fourth and final round. Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to Inside the Ropes. Frank Sulkowski, Stephanie Farrar. We thought we'd be nice and bring her in out of the rain since she was live the past couple days over at Harbortown.
I do appreciate being in studio with the lights, and you know, it's not as hectic or as wet in here.
Exactly. The RBC Heritage, the 11th tournament of the 2013-2014 PGA Tour season, with a weather-related delay or suspension.
That's right, but not even close to 4 inches of rain could keep the folks at Harbortown from getting their plaid on Saturday. Fans still piled onto the course. Some of the best golfers in the world once again put on a show, setting the stage for an exciting fourth and final round.
Sure enough, and after the second round was finished, first thing this morning, 3 golfers would share the lead heading into the third round: KJ Choi, Jim Furyk, and Ben Martin.
That's right, those 3 and 75 others making the cut Saturday afternoon. 4 over par got golfers into the final 2 rounds, including guys like Buford's Mark Anderson and 2-time Heritage champ Boo Weekley, who squeaked in and 4 over.
That's right, lots of golf being played at Harbortown Saturday, and when all was said and done, a former #1 golfer in the world rankings grabbing the lead heading into Sunday's final round. Let's go ahead and take a look at those third round highlights. The golfers went off the first and 10th tees in the third round. We begin with Kevin Stadler. At the par 5 second, he gets his round started in style, rolling in the eagle putt. Stadler at 1 under for the tournament. Defending champ Graham McDowell had his moments, including at the par 4 first. McDowell going to sink the long birdie putt to open his round. McDowell also at 1 under heading into the final round. KJ Choi unable to hold on to his second round lead. Choi now at 2 under par. He nearly picks up eagle at number 2, settles on the birdie there. Back at number 1, Chesson Hadley going to open the third round with the birdie. Hadley sits at 1 under par. Jeff Ogilvy is at 2 under par after 3 rounds of play. He picks up the birdie at number 2. Up at the par 5 15th, Brian Stewart's going to save par after this pretty shot from the bunker. Stewart with a 3 under 68 Saturday. He's at -4 for the tournament. Along with him at 4 under par, Russell Knox. He's going to knock down the birdie putt at number 2. Then at number 15, a much shorter putt for birdie. Savannah's Brian Harmon would be near the top of the leaderboard all day long, getting to 6 under par thanks to shots like this just off the green. At the par 4 16th, he sticks it nice and close to save par there. However, on the par 3 17th, Harmon going to double bogey. He's at 4 under par. Ben Martin still very much in the mix. At the par 4 9th, he's going to pick up the birdie. Martin at 5 under par heading into the final round. Also at -5, Jim Furyk, who's got the great looking approach at the par 5 second. That's going to lead to a birdie there for Furyk. Nicholas Thompson with a round of 3 under 68 to move to 5 under for the tournament. Thompson with the birdie at number 1. Couple holes later, he's at it again, getting the ball to go home at the par 4 6th. Everybody, though, in the field chasing this man, Luke Donald. He would cart around a 5 under 66. He gets his round started with a bang at number 2. Donald with the eagle putt. You betcha. A short time later, at the par 5 5th, Donald with the beautiful approach. That's going to lead to the birdie. Luke Donald is 8 under par, and he leads the RBC Heritage by 2 strokes, headed into Sunday's final round. Let's go ahead and take a look at that leaderboard heading into Sunday's final round. There you are, Luke Donald all alone in first place. He is 2 strokes ahead of the nearest golfer, and that is John Hunt. 6 under par after his 3 under 68 on Saturday. You got several guys tied for third. Charles Schwartzel, Nicholas Thompson, Jim Furyk, Ben Martin, all at -5. You see there Ben Martin with a 71 today. That was an even par.
That's right. And then you got a bunch of guys at 4 under par, including Russell Knox, Brian Stewart, Brian Harmon, and as you said, he was at 6 under at one point, but a disastrous almost 17th hole put him at 4 under on the tournament. And then Matt Kuchar, he would bogey on 18, and he is at 4 under, and Matt Every at 4 under as well.
Yeah, going back to Harmon, and what happened there was following him in at number 17. Of course, the wind's a little bit whipping there later in the afternoon. His tee shot goes off just beyond the bunker, right by the water. He actually went and looked for it. He found his ball, and he actually had several swings. He just couldn't hit from down in the water, and so he picked it up. Actually, he threw the ball back in the water and just said, "Okay."
Gave it to the water.
He gave it to the water, and he went back and he took his shot, and he left another one short coming from the drop zone, and then he 2-putted. So a double bogey there coming in.
And Harmon was one of those guys all day that we both saw several birdie attempts that were this close from going in. I mean, he was just missing out there all day long, and that has to be frustrating. And then to have a 17th hole, but he pulled it together and finished strong on 18 and still in the hunt for this tournament.
Yeah, you're talking about 4 under par. You're right now 4 strokes behind of Luke Donald, who's a guy who was the #1 golfer in the world. So you got to feel pretty good that you're just 4 strokes behind that kind of guy. And I tell you what, it's shaping up to be a great finish. It looks like out of all the weather we've had, tomorrow may be one of the better days we've had, and that's hard to believe because it's still going to be overcast and windy.
That's right. It's going to be everyone was talking about the wind today coming in. They know it's going to be windy out there. Some golfers, they're okay with that. They feel comfortable in that. Other golfers, not so much. So it should make for an exciting round of golf with the wind playing a factor tomorrow and seeing how guys handle it.
And you were talking about how the golfers were talking about tomorrow, and some are excited about the wind, others not so much. We're going to hear from those golfers coming up after the break. You are watching Inside the Ropes. We'll be right back.
And now for more Inside the Ropes, made possible by these generous sponsors.
Yeah, welcome back to Inside the Ropes. Before we went to break, we were talking about how a lot of the golfers, some are excited. You start finding those guys who are from the other side of the Atlantic, they don't mind the wind so much. And a guy like Luke Donald is a guy who can kind of thrive in conditions like we've been having. A little breezy, a little overcast. Then you got some folks who are used to playing in the southeast with the sunny skies, calm and everything else. They have a little bit of issue with what's going on out there at Harbor Town.
And we saw it today. Today it was everyone was kind of expecting it to rain, but it didn't rain, and it was really calm out there. It's really calm, especially for Harbor Town. It was calm. And then when you got to 17 and 18, those winds started coming, and for a lot of people it was just hard to adjust to those final couple holes because it had been so calm all day, and they know that it's a precursor of what's to come tomorrow. But let's take a listen to what some of the golfers had to say after the third round of the RBC Heritage.
I played extremely well today and felt very comfortable, very calm out there. Hit a lot of my spots that I wanted to, and finally started to make a few putts, which is always nice around this place.
It's been a long time for me to be in this position, so I'd love to enjoy myself out there tomorrow, and we'll see how I can handle the pressure.
Conditions are tough out there. It's been cold and windy the last few days, and I felt like I've hit the ball pretty decent. And I think if I can continue with the ball striking and giving myself chances, hopefully make a few tomorrow and be in with a shot.
I'm excited, looking forward to it. It's, my golf game is good. I'm hitting a lot of quality golf shots, and it's going to be an exciting day tomorrow, as long as we don't have to play 18 times.
It's going to be a tough day. It's supposed to blow. It's supposed to be very windy tomorrow, and it's been like that all week, but I hear it's going to actually pick up tomorrow from what we saw today. So, even par is probably a good score. Anything under par, you might have a chance and put some heat on the leaders.
I think with the tough conditions, it helps kind of stay in the moment, stay in that shot, because there's some tough shots out there, so you really got to focus. So that's been helping me this week.
I felt like I was in control of my ball, drove it nicely, hit a lot of greens, and made a few putts when I hit it close. So I really saved the day. A couple nice up and downs on the last 2 holes really kept me in it for tomorrow.
Well, I was proud of the way that I handled that on 17. I could have gotten real mad and made a mess at 18.
But this course has tested you not all day, and there's so many different shots you got to hit. Just got to stay patient and see what happens.
My round today was pretty good, pretty steady. I think I had 2 birdies on the front side and a bunch of pars. I was bogey free going into the last. Let one slip, but 18 is such a hard hole. Happy with the way I'm playing and really excited for tomorrow.
Now, as we were talking about, a lot of the golfers were mentioning that Luke Donald at the top of the leaderboard after the 3rd round with windy conditions coming on the final day is not a good thing for any of those other golfers because they know that he's experienced, especially with the winds, and it's his kind of golf course a little bit, and he's used to golfing in those winds. So he has a nice little lead right now, and with the winds, they know a lot of people are saying that, an even par is good, but that's not going to win you the tournament, so they got to try to pull some shots from out of nowhere.
And the key every year is you need to do your scoring on the front side. You have a little bit more trees, a little bit more blocking of the wind. You got some par 5s there, which you have to get your birdies at, possible eagles at, to go ahead and get your scoring, because once you make that turn, once you come past 9 and you pass the clubhouse and you start shooting back off into the backside, things get a little hairy out there. And when you get to 16, 17, and 18, a lot of times we see the tournament won and lost there. Several years ago, Boo Weekley with a big win there. He's chipping them in from 18 and 17. Sometimes you got to have that magic. Sometimes you need to have a little lead, a little cushion. We saw several guys go into that 16, 17, 18 today, drop 1, 2, 3 strokes coming in.
Yeah, absolutely, and as you said it, to get out early in the front 9 is key, because we saw it today. A lot of these guys that are on the top of the leaderboard today, they birdied 1, 2, 5. I mean, those kinds of holes, you need to get those birdies early, because you start to fall apart after 9 when the wind starts to kick up, and it gets, as we know, windier and windier as the day goes on at Harbour Town.
You got that right. Now, a little bit earlier in Inside the Ropes, we were talking about the outstanding job the folks did out there at Harbour Town getting that course set to play. I mean, I'm one of those guys who, when I went to bed last night, I said 8 a.m., it ain't going to happen. It's too wet out there, and the forecast called for rain all through the night. You were out there pretty late last night, and you said the 9th fairway, it was underwater.
I came back and I said, no way. And then we woke up this morning, and it was a phone call, and it was, my goodness, they're going to golf at 8:01. Okay,
there you go.
There we go. We're going to be out there, and when we got out there, it was shocking. I mean, I think everybody, all the volunteers, everyone that was out there was pretty amazed at the fact of how well, and people that were living on the island, so they hadn't seen that much rain in a long, long time, and for the golf course to look the way it did was just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's right. We've heard about flipping this house. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk about how organizers were able to flip the course and get things ready for the conclusion of round 2 and round 3. That's coming up after the break. You are watching Inside the Ropes. Stick around.
And now for more Inside the Ropes, made possible by these generous sponsors.
Welcome back to Inside the Ropes. I'll tell you what, when we left Harbour Town after play was suspended Friday night, things didn't look too good for Saturday's action.
No, it didn't. There was so much rain, tournament officials forced to make several changes, from parking to new tee times and everything in between. And now when you think about it, tournament director Steve Wilmot and company, well, they work year-round getting the logistics set for this tournament week. Many of those plans were thrown out the window Friday afternoon, but I tell you what, tournament officials, grounds crew, and staff at Sea Pines rally. They began preparing the course at 5:30 Saturday morning. At 8:01, 65 golfers teed off to finish their second rounds. After the last putt dropped, crews got busy again preparing the course for the 3rd round, and that included new pin placements, mowing the greens, and getting the bunkers all ready and set. At 12:20 this afternoon, the 3rd round got underway, and about 7 hours later, the 3rd round was in the can, getting the tournament back on schedule. I had a chance to catch up with Steve Wilmot to get his thoughts on what turns out to be a long 24 hours out there at Harbour Town.
Truly it's a team effort. I mean, it's amazing all the moving parts that happened in a matter of a few hours yesterday to seem, as you can tell by the crowd today, that turned out. You learn a lot from all experiences, and you learn more from difficult ones. And but we learned a lot. We're going to get things better for next year. But I'm glad it happened. It was a tough day yesterday, but it was also to see everybody come together like they did. It really is awesome. Honestly, it was like a tropical storm yesterday. I mean, people don't realize it, and to know the efforts that John Wright, the superintendent here at Harbour Town, and I honestly thought they were talking about 8 o'clock. He was confident they could do it at 8. I'm like, there's really no way, knowing all the water that was out here. But got off at 8 o'clock. You know, they got in the final about 4 hours of play and re-teed at 12:20, and here we go. What we say, the day you stop learning is the day you get out of the business, and we're going to continue to learn from this experience, and we'll have a better one next year.
Next year. No rain.
But again, a great job to all those people that were out there last night into this morning and all day. Seeing the turnaround, it was amazing. It was a sight to see, that's for sure.
And some of those folks were upset because they teed off at 8:01, not 8 o'clock. I said, I don't think that 1 minute is going to make that big of a difference.
No, it didn't. It didn't.
No, it's all good.
It's all good.
But talk about all good. Graham McDowell's all good. He's defending champ. He's at 2 under par. He's got some work to do if he wants to defend his title. But come win or lose, this guy deserves some props. He's got a special friendship, and he's got a little something special in the bag whenever he comes to Harbortown, because he's got probably his biggest fan and one of his biggest friends sitting right there along the fairways with him. Take a look.
Golf has always been more than a game for Kyler Aubrey.
He used to go to the television and he would put it on the Golf Channel when he was 2 years old, and my mom would be like, Kyler, why don't you like cartoons like normal kids do?
But Kyler Aubrey is no normal kid. Born with cerebral palsy, Kyler is confined to a wheelchair, unable to walk or talk on his own. But with his infectious smile and love for the game and the professionals that play it, Kyler is right at home on the links.
A lot of the stares we get going to grocery stores and things are people staring for other reasons. While he's in the golf course and engaged with the golfers and people see that he knows them, they're staring for positive reasons.
For years now, Kyler and his dad Josh have attended PGA Tour events across the country. And on countless occasions, the Statesboro father and son have come face to face with golfing royalty. The pictures and autographs in Kyler's room, keepsakes of unforgettable moments the Aubreys have shared.
The golfers will come up to him, they'll talk to him, they remember him, they'll give him a ball, and he gets excited. And that, I think, helps lift his spirits and the interaction. And it's one of those rare times where people are very envious of Kyler, where a lot of times not so much.
These days, there's one golfer in particular that Kyler keeps a close eye on.
Graham is good golfer and my friend.
That good golfer and friend is defending RBC Heritage champion Graham McDowell.
He was here for 3 of my 4 rounds last year when I won the RBC Heritage. He's kind of my inspiration, He puts my life in perspective because he's so happy despite what he's gone through in his life.
What started out as a meeting along the fairway has turned into a friendship built on mutual respect and admiration.
Anytime I ever got remotely frustrated or disappointed on the golf course, I just took a look over at his smiling face. He didn't mind if I made birdie or bogey. He was just happy to be out there.
But Graham and Kyler's friendship goes beyond the tees and greens. The two regularly talk on the phone or video chat on the computer. And just last month, the Aubreys were Graham's special guests at his Orlando restaurant during the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill. The Aubreys say they're thankful and blessed for McDowell's friendship and generosity. But Graham says he's the one who's truly been touched.
He puts my life in perspective, and I feel like I learn a lot from him.
And I'll tell you what, to watch these two along the ropes, it's really something cool to see. I mean, he does come over and talk to him all the time, and you'd think he's another caddy out there.
Tell you what, lifelong friends. It seems like they've known each other their entire life.
For sure.
Tell you what, weather has played a big part in this year's RBC Heritage. Coming up after the break, we're going to have a check on Sunday's final round forecast. That and much more when Inside the Ropes comes around. When Inside the Ropes returns. Stick around.
And now for more Inside the Ropes, made possible by these generous sponsors.
Welcome back to Inside the Ropes. Now, weather has played a huge part in this tournament so far, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that tomorrow we see nice weather, at least mediocre weather.
I would like to go one day without putting the rain gear on and coming back all pruny. But for one way to find out what we can expect tomorrow, let's check in with meteorologist Samora Theodore to see how we need to plan for tomorrow's final round out there at Harbortown.
Thanks, Frank. All right, here's a look at the model. So it's going to show us as we move forward in time what's going to be happening. So it's saying that we're going to see some stray showers up in low country and a lot of cloud coverage throughout the day, mostly cloudy conditions. We're not really seeing that first reprieve from this type of weather until about 10 p.m. Sunday night. All right, so for your RBC Heritage forecast breakdown, this is what you can expect. Temperature's not too bad, 70 degrees, but here's the problem. With that mostly cloudy conditions, there's that chance for a stray shower. And check out these winds out of the north, at 28 miles per hour, and we could see gusts just shy of 40 miles per hour. That's it for now. Back to you, Frank.
All right, well, here is the leaderboard heading into tomorrow's final round. Luke Donald on top at 8 under par. Then John Hu and Charles Schwartzel, Nicholas Thompson, Jim Furyk, Ben Martin, all there at 6 under and 5 under par. So it should be an exciting final round tomorrow.
Then you got a big pack of guys who are just at 4 under par, which are just 4 strokes back, including Brian Harman, who's still searching for his first PGA Tour win. Actually, several of those guys searching for their first PGA Tour win.
So it could be an exciting, or Luke Donald could hold on and win it all. We'll just have to wait and see.
And we will have it all for you coming up tomorrow night, Sunday night, right here on WTGS Fox, 10:30. We'll bring you inside the ropes once again. Until then, have a good night, everyone. So that's that.